Let me tell you a story about a young man named David, who faced a challenge that many would find hard to overcome. This isn't just another story, it's a journey of transformation, resilience, and growth that I hope will inspire you as much as it inspired me. David was an ambitious student with big dreams. He was always at the top of his class, involved in sports, and had a bright future ahead of him. But life took an unexpected and tragic turn in 2020 when his father passed away due to the pandemic. The loss shattered David's world. The grief was overwhelming, and the financial strain on his family only added to his burden. Struggling to cope, David began drifting away from his studies. His once promising future began to fade as he got involved with a group of bad peers who urged him to abandon his education. They introduced him to dangerous habits. He started taking drugs and got involved in petty crime activities. What began as a way to numb his grief soon became a vicious cycle of bad decisions. The once promising young man was now lost in a world of addiction and crime, a far cry from the student with a bright future. By mid-2021, David's life was spiraling out of control. His grades had plummeted, and he felt like a failure. But beyond the academic struggles, David's soul was being consumed by guilt and despair. He knew deep down that this wasn't the life his father would have wanted for him. Yet, the darkness seemed too powerful to escape. Then, one night, after a particularly reckless evening with his so-called friends, David was arrested during a botched robbery attempt. As David sat in that cold, dark cell, the weight of his choices pressed down on him like never before. The life he once knew seemed like a distant memory, overshadowed by the mistakes he had made and the people he had hurt. He couldn't shake the feeling of shame that gnawed at him, knowing how far he had strayed from the person he used to be. The faces of his disappointed teachers, the looks of disgust from his relatives, and the haunting memory of his father's smile all played over and over in his mind. For the first time, David was forced to confront the reality of the path he had chosen. It was in that moment, surrounded by the silence of the cell, that he realized something had to change. But the question lingered. Could he really turn his life around? Or was it too late?